Hey guys, let's get started with this 10-minute upper body kettlebell workout. It's 10 minutes total with 3 sets, 3 exercises per set, all unilateral movements, so 30 seconds on each side. We're starting with an uneven push-up. One hand on the kettlebell, the other on the floor. Take a wide stance with your arms. Come down as close to the ground as you can in a nice plank position. Arms make a 45-degree angle with your body. If this is too difficult, you can do the push-up from your knees. Just remember to keep a nice straight line from your knees all the way up to the top of your head. Up next, we're moving into a bent over row. You're going to hold the kettlebell in the same hand that it was in during the uneven push-up. Place the other hand on an elevated surface such as a chair. Take a wide stance with your legs and bend your knees slightly. Keep a nice flat back. And you're going to pull the kettlebell up, elbow to the ceiling, and then full extension of the arm back down. Keep your shoulders square, don't let the one holding the kettlebell rise up above the other. And pulling to your rib cage, again elbow all the way up to the ceiling, and then straighten it completely. Our last exercise is an overhead press. Again, holding the kettlebell in that same hand as you were for the row and the push-up. Start with it resting slightly on your upper arm, hand at about eye level, and you're pushing it straight overhead. Keep your rib cage tucked in, and your abs strong. So just your arm is moving, the rest of your body is totally still and square. Okay, now we're going to switch sides, hold the kettlebell in the opposite hand, and we're going to start again from the uneven push-up. One hand on the ground, the other hand on the kettlebell. Do this from your feet or from your knees, whatever's a good challenge for you. And just make sure that you're maintaining a nice straight plank position. Rib cage tucked in, tailbone tucked under, abs strong, not letting your lower back sag toward the ground. Get your chest as low to the ground as you can, and push back up. Next, moving again into the row, holding the kettlebell in the same hand, one hand on that elevated surface, a chair or a step. A nice wide stance with the feet, bend the knees slightly, and the back perfectly flat. Rowing elbow to the ceiling, hand to the rib cage, and then extending the elbow all the way. Also keep your shoulders square. Don't let the one lifting the kettlebell rise up above the other one. Awesome job with that. Moving back into our overhead press, so holding the kettlebell in the same hand and starting with the hand at about eye level, strictly pushing it up overhead. Your arm should make contact with the side of your face, rib cage stays tucked in, full extension of the arm, and then back down to eye level. When you extend your arm overhead, make sure your hand is facing forward. And we're finished with round 1. Great job with that. We have 2 to go. Rest for 30 seconds. Alright, let's get started with round 2, holding the kettlebell in one hand. We're getting down on the ground into our uneven push-up. Lower yourself down as close as you can to the ground, making sure your whole body is in alignment, and your upper arms are at a 45-degree angle to your body. The stance with your arms should be wide to avoid putting any unnecessary strain on your elbows. Next up, we're getting back into our row, one hand on that elevated surface, flat back, knees slightly bent, and rowing up to the rib cage, elbow to the ceiling, shoulders square, they should be the same height from the ground as one another. And then extending the arm completely, straight at the elbow. Great job with that. Lastly, on this side, getting back into our overhead press. Keep the kettlebell in the same hand, and beginning at eye level, push the kettlebell overhead. Rib cage stays tucked in the whole time. Try to do a strict overhead press, where everything stays perfectly still except for the arm that's pushing the kettlebell up. If at any point this becomes too difficult, bend your knees slightly and do a squat press. So use your legs for momentum to help push the kettlebell overhead. Great job. Again, moving to the other side, switch hands that the kettlebell is in, and we're doing an uneven push-up. Remember that nice plank position. If at any point you're doing it on your feet and it gets too hard, go ahead and do it from your knees. Just make sure that you maintain good form the entire time. A nice strong plank position. Keep your hips down and your lower back up. Elbows at a 45-degree angle. Alright, next moving again into our row. Keeping the kettlebell in the same hand. Putting the other hand on that elevated surface. Nice flat back, knees slightly bent. And rowing up to the rib cage, elbow to the ceiling. And then back down, full extension of the arm. Shoulders even. Awesome job with that. And lastly, the overhead press, holding the kettlebell in that same arm, starting at eye level, rib cage tucked in, pushing all the way overhead, and then back down to eye level, rib cage tucked in, tailbone tucked under, neutral spine, everything in symmetrical alignment, except that arm that's pressing overhead. Again, if at any point this gets too difficult, use your legs for a little bit of momentum. That should make it a little bit easier. Great job with that. Another 30-second rest. We just have one more round to go. Starting on round 3, kettlebell in one hand, getting into that uneven push-up, last one on this side. A perfectly straight plank position, whether you're on your feet or your knees. And lower yourself as close to the ground as you can go, and then push all the way back up. Arms are at a 45-degree angle to your body, and whichever hand is on the ground is going to be the one that gets the best workout on this side. Okay, great job with that. Moving into our last row on this side. Knees slightly bent, back perfectly flat, rowing up to the ceiling as high as you can go, and then lowering, full extension of the arm. Shoulders remain square. Great job. Now we're on the last overhead press on this side. Make sure your ribs are tucked in, a nice powerful position with your body, everything in alignment. Start with the kettlebell at eye level, and then push it overhead so that your arm is straight and making contact with the side of your face. This got really tough for me in the last round, so you can see me doing more of a squat press on this one. Bending the knees slightly, and then using that momentum to help push the kettlebell up. Great job, switch arms, and now we're getting into the last round. So starting with the uneven push-up, this is going to be the hardest one because the hand that's on the ground is going to be getting the most workout, and that was the same arm that was just doing the shoulder press. Make sure your form is spot on, a perfect plank position, abs are tight so the lower back stays up, in alignment, and the hips are tucked under. Take a wide stance with the arms, 45-degree angle to the body. Try to get all the way down to the ground. Awesome job. Now moving on to our next row. Flattening out your back, keeping your shoulders square, slight bend in the knees, rowing up to the ceiling, and lowering to full extension of the arm. Awesome job. In our last exercise, just one more overhead press. Keep the kettlebell in the same hand, starting at eye level, rib cage tucked in, full extension overhead, arm touching the side of your face. Try to do a strict overhead press, but if this is too much, it's perfectly okay to use your legs for this, like I'm doing. Just a few more seconds here, keep it up. Awesome job, and you're finished. Great job with that. That was a really tough 10-minute upper body kettlebell circuit. We covered chest, back, shoulders, and arm muscles. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next workout. Great job.